Hey everyone, today we're doing a fun list. I was shocked to find this was one list I haven't updated, with my previous one being over 2 years old, so I thought we'd update it today, with there being nearly 10 new characters in the game since. I'm going to stick with the same tiers, generally boring, can go either way, often fun, and almost always enjoyable. Let's get into it. Starting out in the Z tier, I'm going to go with Spirit as my bottom pick. Spirit I find insanely dull to play. She's strong and relatively simple to play. I'm not even that good with her, and I can do well most of the time. Onto the generally boring tier. Bubba kicks us off. I don't like playing Bubba. I find him honestly really dull. His hitboxes for his chainsaw and collision with the environment feel really inconsistent and annoying. I find even when I outplay someone, it just doesn't make me feel much. Clown I don't like playing or facing. There's a minimal rewarding feeling sometimes when you outplay someone on a strong loop, but largely it's just not very fun I find, because you just slow the survivor down, get an easy hit, and move on, typically with lots of pre-drops and such. Hag I can do well with if I try, but even when I do, I just don't find it very fun. It's a character who takes a lot of effort and a lot of setup, but I find the payoff isn't that engaging really, particularly as most teams are fairly uncoordinated and probably not on comms. It makes her fairly dull I find. Doctor is a character I do not enjoy playing. I really just dislike the loop of his power, of shocking, trying to get the window for a hit. I just don't find it interesting personally. On the flip side, I actually really enjoy facing him, but playing him is quite boring I find. Similar to Clown, it's lots of pre-drops. Skull Merchant is the highest for me here, in this generally boring tier. I don't think her power is interesting, even when I try to play more chase focused. In general, I've also found that people are more toxic towards you when you play her. Lots more flashlight spam, lots of people slating you in endgame chat, even when you played normally. It's just not an enjoyable experience. It can have fun moments, and the drones do provide some unique gameplay with additional haste and stealth. Onto the can go either way tier. Billy kicks us off here, and he's largely here because I'm not good at him. And even when I try to improve, I just don't. So sometimes I have some decent games, other times I get no hooks or one hook or something, and it's just not fun. A definite skill issue on my part, but that doesn't change how fun it is. Freddy is a character I can kind of tolerate nowadays. He's fairly boring power-wise, but because he's also kind of weak, but relatively simple to master, it means games can be quite tough, but often fun because of that challenge. So that's where the 50-50 comes in. I often have challenging games that I enjoy with him. Knight is here for the times when you get a cool play and you're holding down a whole map. Those times where his power really works well. I personally play Knight as more of a map control character. I try to have two chases going on at any given time, rather than using my guards within a single chase, however inefficient that may be. Knight has his moments. Trapper is here because I just don't enjoy how add-on and map reliant he is. There's so many times when I load into a match and I just think, well, I can probably get a 2k at most here if I play really harshly, and that just doesn't feel good. On balanced maps he can be really fun, and there can be insanely satisfying moments where you place a trap well, but it's just so dependent on things you often can't control. Twins is here largely from my own fault I suppose. I don't play them much, and so I'm just not that good with them. They feel clunky still, and I don't like it. They do have a very unique style of gameplay though. Victor in particular is fun to run around with. When you get those cool pincer plays too, it's pretty fun. I just find they have a lot of flaws still, and it makes me want to play them less, which makes me worse at them, which makes me lose more. Trickster is a character which relies a lot on how good the team you're facing is at completing generators efficiently. One-on-one chases can be fun and are a really strong element for Trickster, but it feels really bad not being able to hold down a map largely. The best trials with Trickster are often games when the survivors make a mistake. He's very momentum based, and so fun with that momentum, but really unfun when you lose it or never gain it to begin with. Myers is a character where I really think you kind of make your own fun. He's largely a pretty weak character, with his stronger add-ons like Tombstone Piece being pretty dull. Whacking on a mirror add-on or a more entertaining perk build can make Myers far more enjoyable I find. For example, I really enjoy stacking Vault Speed perks on him. Although not the most efficient way to play, it does make him more fun. Dre Reg is a character that can be super fun, but man does it suck when you get some maps. For example, I played a Shelter Woods game recently with it, and there was just one corner of the map with literally no lockers. It really kills my enjoyment of its power for that reason. Otherwise, Nightfall is super fun. Bursting out of lockers and surprising survivors, also fun. Lots of good elements, but I hate the map reliance so much. Singularity is a case where there are definite fun games with him, and the main reason he's here is just EMPs partly, but also how many times the cameras don't detect someone you can clearly see. I actually really enjoy the way you can play him both as a setup character and a chase character, but it does definitely take a lot of effort and patience. Onto the often fun tier. Nurse I would place in often fun, as I often have fun with her. It's kind of easy mode, but as I don't play her much, getting back into the flow of her unique playstyle and adjusting to blinking and such is pretty fun, I find. Particularly when you get into that flow. It feels rewarding. Cenobite is a similar deal. He provides very unique gameplay. I often don't enjoy playing him because it's a lot of effort and he can feel tiring. When I do play him though, I usually enjoy it. It's a tough power and feels good to do well with, particularly when you get into a chain hunt loop and do stuff like find the box before the survivors. Wraith is another character I do not enjoy facing, but I do find fairly fun to play. Add-ons really help with his fun level, I think, and allow him to do a lot of unique things. I also like the simplicity here of cloak uncloak. Legion is similar to Wraith. I don't really like facing them, but they are fun to play, I think. You get to run, you get to fast vault, you have those potential moments for 5-hit downs, they have fun movement primarily, and the potential for using your power in interesting ways and getting those moments where you string hits across the whole team make them pretty fun, I think. Demogorgon is one of the more balanced characters, and so it often feels fun to play. I feel good when I do well, I don't feel annoyed when I lose. Its abilities are fun, and its power of the portals are a good map traversal and stealth tool. Hitting good shreds can feel very rewarding too. Plague is another super unique character. I like playing her now and then, and just using the different type of power. Most Plague games run differently depending on how the survivors react to the infection. It can lead to a lot of thinking on your feet, and variety between matches. Xenomorph is obviously early days, but it seems pretty fun. The tail attack is very unique, and requires a lot of precision, which I like. It feels rewarding. The underground tunnels are very cool, and it's such a fun and unique separate area to play around with. I like the counter of the flame turrets too. They're interesting. Sadako, after her rework, has been lifted a bit for me. I like the new style of play she has, and how you can actually condemn people fairly frequently, and know how and who to target to pull it off. I like the counterplay of holding a tape, and I enjoy her pairing of stealth and the looming threat of condemned slowly building. Artist I considered a bit, and I think she's pretty high for me actually. I enjoy Artist's power and the potential she has for long shots and stuff. The anti-loop is actually pretty engaging and requires good timing, and the ability to outsmart survivors. She's another character where if I get outplayed, I just think, nice job. Blight is a character I don't play much, but I do find him fun. Very fast, very bouncy, and a bunch of unique add-ons to play around with, which almost all wholly make him stronger. The thing I don't like is pretty much how strong he is. Some games can feel kind of dull for that reason. Oni is the final character here. He's dropped quite a bit for me, but is still enjoyable most of the time. His speed and insta-down potential is fun and rewarding, particularly with his ability to glide off objects, and needing to work around his harder turning circles when sprinting. He can feel kind of bad sometimes when you get lots of pre-drops early on and stuff like that, but I do think his power is undeniably very fun. Finally, we have the almost always enjoyable tier. Huntress is one of those characters that is just so simple. I love being able to just hop on Huntress and play some different DBD games with her range. She suffers a little from my dredge locker placement issue, but largely it's not a big deal. Simple but fun. Nemesis is a character that's really grown on me. I almost always enjoy my games with him nowadays. I like the build-up of infection and learning the tentacles movement. I like the randomness of the zombies and how they can make for interesting or funny moments. Ghostface is a character that I enjoy for the variety of playstyles you can use on him. You don't need an add-on to make him fun, you can play really aggressively and not really stealthily and it can work. You can play super stealthy, you could do a combination, whatever. I enjoy him, particularly for the unique movement he has with crouching and leaning. Wesker is largely accepted as pretty fun. I don't play him much really, but when I do, I find him easy to pick up and easy to have fun with. His movement is enjoyable, the throwing aspect, the add-ons even have a lot of things to alter the way this movement happens. Fun character. Pig is pretty high for me. I really enjoy Pig's kit and the way games play out when using it. Ambush is fun, and the stealth part can make for a bunch of fun moments. Reverse bed traps feel very unique, and the potential to be very deadly too. She's not so weak nowadays, and she has a bunch of fun add-ons to play around with too. Executioner is similar in that he has a bunch of unique stuff in his kit. For me, nothing beats getting a cool through-the-wall shot with your ranged attack. It feels great. I enjoy all of Pyramid Head's abilities and the ways he can overcome the survivors. The times I'm not having fun is purely a skill issue on my part, and generally because the attacks are well signaled. Doing well as Pyramid Head feels good, and doing badly I'm usually like, yeah, fair enough, they outplayed me. Maybe a hot take, but Death Slinger is my top pick, I think. Slinger is a character I can just play anytime and I have fun. Very simple, super strong chase power, not overly map reliant. It's a great feeling getting rewarding shots through small gaps or at range. A character I can relax with but do fairly well with. So he's my top pick. Also, I get to be a cowboy. Alright, well, that's gonna do it. I do hope you enjoyed, and let me know who your favorite character to play is down below. Thanks, and goodbye.